Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shooting the Shit, a Tottenham talk show with me, Lee the Dorset Spur. This is actually episode 6. Who would have thought we'd have got that far, but we've made it to 6. Apparently, 7 is the tipping point. If you don't do it after 7, that's when most of them fail. So we're going to plough on and really give it a go. Really good to have my boys back with me again today. Welcome back, Alex. Nice to see you, mate. You okay?
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Yeah, I'm fine. Had a busy day. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Mason, good to see you, buddy. You okay?
All good here, mate. Better day going into the office after a win rather than a loss. So,
absolutely, good stuff. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you will see that we have him back. We have Dean. He's back after having a talk extension. He's come back. He's looking fresh. He's looking sharp, and it's really good to see you. How you doing, Dean? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. Just like to say thanks for a lot of the messages of support, like when I was going through my operations and bits and pieces. Yeah, nice to be the right side of the grass.
Yeah, really cool. It's good to have you back, buddy. We've missed you.
It's like when Ronaldo come back to United, isn't
it? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, listen, we've got loads to talk about this week because obviously since the last time we spoke, we've had 2 games and we've obviously got another game coming up on Thursday. So plenty to talk about today. I was going to start off by just talking initially about Brentford because that's the most recent game before we talk a little bit about Coventry, have a little bit of a review of that, and then think about what's going to happen against Karabag on Thursday. So first things first, I just wanted to talk about was, Alex, we'll start with you, mate, if that's all right. Sure. Basically your overall thoughts on the game against Brentford. How did you see it?
Brentford. Well, it was a great day. Enjoyed the day out, didn't we, Dean? It was a good day. For Cario's performance, he's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't he? He still likes to produce the camera saves. His handball was interesting, but obviously there was a foul beforehand, so he got away with that one by the skin of his teeth, to be honest with you. But I don't know what to quite make of him. But I mean, he seems enthusiastic a lot. He starts to bark all his orders and seems to want to be noticed or be in charge in some sort, or be involved in more of the game than he normally is. I think I don't know, Lee. He said he was going to study his role, didn't he, last week after his previous performances, and I don't know what page he got to or what pictures he got to. I don't know if Peter and Jane cover goalie techniques, but no, he's a bit of a mixed bag, mate. For me, I think he's the weakest link in the team. I don't think he's reliable enough. I think he's all of a sudden he's took a few steps back. He's got to come forward a bit more. He's got to make his presence be felt a bit more than what's happening at the moment. But the Brentford game was a good game. I thought we was on them although we only had about 45% of the possession. I thought we had more than that, but no, we definitely gave it to them. Definitely gave them a game. I thoroughly enjoyed it where I was. But yeah, no, I thought we played well. I think we deserved the win.
Okay, Dean, what did you think? You was at the game, I take it. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, again, like we said, Alex just said, he said it was a good day. The sun was out. All our buddies were there. I think credit goes to Brentford because I think they come to play, and when people come to play, it's a better game. When people like they do the low block or they come to defend and break on on the counter, it's a totally different game. It's kind of like a boring game. But yeah, I mean, I like Thomas Frank. I like the way he sets his teams up. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves, if I'm honest. And he had players out. So I think they've done really well, especially in the first 23 seconds. They tore us apart, put a simple ball in, and what a cracking goal. If you was looking in January window and you want a backup striker, and Buemo, why not? I'd go for him. I think he's a cracking player. But yeah, I enjoyed the game. I thought we played well. I thought Maddison had a great game, pulling the strings. It's strange because he's got number 10 on his back, but 1 minute he's number 10, then he drops into a number 8, then he'll drop into a number 6. But yeah, everything that went through him, and I think they played really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't see the game all the way through. I watched the highlights and so on, and been through it all. And it did look a decent performance overall. So really, really pleased with that. Mason, how did you see it? Do you agree with that? Was Maddison on the mark for you today? I mean, after seeing the goal go down after 23 seconds, was you thinking, "Oh God, here we go again"?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think every Spurs fan on Sunday or Saturday even, we're all sitting there saying, "Oh, here we go again." Like 1-0 down straight away. But must admit, yeah, no, it was a good game. Touching on what Dean said, Thomas Frank, he plays really attractive football. Being that Brentford, don't get me wrong, Brentford were struggling last year, but you can see the way they're going. And being that they did come to Spurs and give us a game, especially without Tony or Visser, I thought it was a really good game. But I will touch on one thing though, only because it ruined my bet. But I like the way Son at the moment is involved in the build-up play. So good thing I didn't get invited to the fan forum, because one of the questions would be, is Son going to compensate me for my £200 ACCA that was going to come through? So
You can half moan about that.
I didn't even moan at all. Not once. Not once did he moan about Son not taking that second shot. Did he?
Yeah.
Did he moan?
What did he call him?
All
What did he
fucking
call him?
day.
I cashed out. It's fine. I cashed out. It's fine.
He's obviously got over it. He's
No.
obviously got over it because it's Tuesday night and he's not going on about it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going on about it at all. No, great game though. Great game.
Yeah, I have to say, after seeing the goal going after 23 seconds, I was thinking, oh, here we go again. But you like just touching on what you've said there about Thomas Frank and his team coming to kind of give it a go. Do you think that's going to give people an idea to think to themselves, there's no point doing that? We need to do the low block against Tottenham, and next week we're going to be ending up back with the same difficulty of breaking teams down. That's my only concern about it. You know, is if a team comes and has a go and then they get beat, that's going to send a message to other teams to say, look, probably not a good idea to do that, to be honest with you. So, we'll see how it goes from that point of view. Because I mean, you could have thought to themselves, they get themselves ahead. Why would they not kind of go on a low block and kind of keep us out and quieten the crowd down and all the rest of it? So, okay, look, just coming back to you, Mason, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Brennan Johnson, because obviously we talked about him previously a couple of times, because he has been getting a bit of stick, and we've seen what's gone on from that. But scoring again, so I just get answering his critics is that doing his talking through his football. I mean, I see him pull away doing the shushing thing. What was the atmosphere like in the stadium when that went in?
Oh, I mean, everyone was, because as you can tell, the stadium were trying to get Brennan Johnson's morale up. There was only one Brennan Johnson was going around. Yeah, he's trying to get. I think what it is that Brennan Johnson, especially you could see against Coventry, he had a very poor image of the fans in his head. But I think he's now come to realise that it's not the fans; it's just 12-year-olds online thinking they're edgy, thinking they're cool. But he was in a stadium with 60,000 people, and every single one of them, bar the Brentford fans, were saying, "There's only one Brennan Johnson," or just giving Brennan Johnson a bit of a morale boost. And I think he's proven himself through his football rather than talking. But it's just, I had no doubt in him. I think he's always going to be a quality player, especially after going off of the impact he had for us last season. I don't think the quality is going to drop anytime soon.
It was very loud as well Saturday, wasn't it? Sorry, the noise from the south stand about Brendan Johnson was amazing. It was so loud.
I mean, that's really good to see, isn't it? I mean, that's really good to hear that the fans in the stadium are actually trying to support the lad, because I mean, even now, like even after the Brentford game, still seeing criticisms of Brennan Johnson, some real a lot of kind of quite nasty stuff still, which really surprised me because I like I say, I thought he had a good game, and I've never really thought he was that bad. I've always thought he was a young player who just needed time and needed a bit of space and stuff like that to really get off the go. Because I mean, he didn't do too badly for us last season, to be fair, in terms of the overall stats. But everyone, the ones I'm seeing are calling out against, like, who's he doing it against? And you've got to be doing it against better opposite. Well, you can only beat who's in front of you, right? So, Dean, I wanted to come back to you as well. You mentioned Maddison. He got the man of the match on the day. I can't remember if it was you, Alex, or someone else. I can't remember who said to me that they thought Kulu was the man of the match. And he's been really influential over the last couple of games. But Dean, man of the match performance from Maddison, was that? Do you think that's his best game so far this season? Because he's been called out. He's been doing quite well.
He has. He's always trying to play well. It depends again how much space he's got. Now he's coming. He's coming sort of deeper, so he can now pick the ball and turn. And again, people in front of him have changed. Personalities have changed. Sonny's chucked himself over to the left. Kulu's now going into the middle, playing in the number 10 role, and that's where he likes to be. So Johnson out wide. I think the way we were set up against Brentford played well. And I like him. I like him in that position. But the only problem is when you, like Kane did, when you come in deep, you can affect it as long as the pass is right. As soon as that pass breaks down, you're in trouble. But lucky, and I mean, the way he was playing on Saturday, nothing really went awry. So I think he's had a great couple of games. I'd like to see him maybe step up a little bit more. The only problem is if he steps up into the 8, you've got a little bit more traffic in front of him. So say Basuma might be beside him or Bentancur might be beside him. And they seem to occupy the same space. So when he drops deeper, he's got more of an angle to fan that pass out to.
Yeah, I mean, Maddison, he's, an obviously quality player and one that we've been calling out for, a season or so before he actually came before we actually signed him, because he was one of the players that we really needed, someone with a little bit of creativity who could unlock a defence and so on. And obviously at the beginning of last season, first 10 games when he was in there, he was probably our best player. I think I was looking at him so far this season. I thought he had a really, really good game as well. So I think it feels like he's kind of getting back to his best, but hopefully that can carry on as well. So I just wanted to, as well, while I've got you, Dean, talk about Solanke a little bit. Got off the mark. Great poacher's goal in my view. Getting it, Maddison obviously with a shot gets parried away, and Solanke in the right place at the right time.
Well, that's what the money's for, isn't it? It doesn't matter. When you look at the stats, it doesn't say, we scored from like 3 yards out or he scored a screamer. It doesn't, it's a win. So it's great for him to get off the mark, because the price tag, same as Johnson, right? The price tag kind of like weighs heavy. You look at Rice, 100 million. In fact, Caicedo's a better one. Caicedo, Chelsea, 100 million. He was crap for a long time, but now he's coming good. Same as Rice. Wasn't playing so brilliant, but now playing well. So once you get that price tag label gone, you let your football take over. And I like Solanke. I like Solanke. Yeah. He's a lump, You could see him every time the ball come to him. He was kind of like side on, so it hit his chest, and then he could turn the play out and run onto the ball. And his hold-up play is good. He's a lot taller than you think he is as well. Because he's a lump, he looks smaller, but he ain't. He is tall.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about his hold-up play. I thought he's not just about his goal; it's about what he can do with his back to the goal as well, isn't it? Bringing other players into it and that kind of stuff. And I get just picking up on the cost thing. The players don't control that, right? It's not their fault that someone says they're 65 million quid. I mean, let's be honest. Who are you going to buy for less than that kind of money if you're looking for a goal scorer? For a Premier League team, it's not going to be easy to do that. But bearing in mind, we paid 50-odd million for Richarlison, for instance.
Yeah.
It's not really his fault that he's that kind of player. In the same way that Gray at 40 million, that's not his fault. if he carries on and in gets out in the way that people expect him to do, he could be 120 million pound player in the next couple of years. Who's going to pay that sort of money? It's only certain teams can pay that kind of money. So it kind of makes sense for me.
It's a strange one, right? Because it's a total weird thing with fans. You've paid that amount of money. If he's not scoring, it's a waste of money. If he is scoring, it's the deal of the century. And then you'll get, why didn't we go for somebody better and we'll pay 100 million? It makes no difference. If the player is a good player, if the player's got the right attitude, and if the player can stick the ball in the back of it or make that telling pass or make that block, then he's worth the money. It's as simple as that. And like Mason said, the noise in the stadium every time, I mean, when the team was called out, normally it's Sonny gets the loudest cheer. But the loudest cheers before the game, when the names were called out, the team names were called out, was Johnson. Johnson's name was so loud. And then when he scored, they were singing like there's only one Brennan Johnson. And when he went off, the whole stadium again stood up and sung his name. So it's not the stadium going fans. It's like Mason says, it's the keyboard warriors. And it's not criticism, because you should, if you're not playing well, you can be criticised. There's a bloody great difference between criticism and abuse. And abuse is what he's been getting, and nobody deserves that. Right? We all shit at our jobs sometimes. It's the way of the world. If you was brilliant every day, we'd all be sort of like multi-millionaires at the top of our game. But we're not, right? So we go to work, we do what we do. Sometimes we do it well, sometimes we don't. It's just the way of the world. You don't deserve then to go into a meeting and get, you are total shit, blah, 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 blah. You get criticised, don't you? You don't get that abuse.
No.
I wanted to constructive, right?
I just wanted to say something about the price tag thing. Solanke, he was never always going to hit the ground running, but bagging goals after goals after goals. He is there to do the dirty work of a striker. As what Dean says, he's a lump. He creates problems for the defense. Sorry, if you watched his game, like he has all season, he's forcing the keeper into mistakes. He's forcing the centre backs to make a quick pass to also maybe force a mistake. And what even happened at his goal? Maddison had scored. He was there because he's that's where his area is. He causes problems for spaces that he can run into. He's never going to be an out and out. I'm going to break the line, runs and score. That's his game. It's his build-up play. And what you said about the price tag, we can all remember Mudrik's £94 million. What's he doing? Price tag means nothing. I think price tag is what a player means to you. Declan Rice isn't a £100 million player, but to Arsenal he is, and to West Ham he is, because he's that vital for their lineup. So I think price tag comes into when you talk about release clauses as well. It's just how important a player is for that team from where he's come from or where he's going. That's what defines a price tag, not for what you're buying. In my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. While we're talking about that kind of thing, the negativity about the fans and stuff, Alex, what's your view on all of that in terms of how Brennan Johnson's been treated, and not just Johnson? I mean, I know you touched a little bit on maybe Vicario's performance and him maybe not being as strong as we perhaps want him to be. What's your view on that? I don't know how much you're into the social media side of things, mate, but so you may not kind of get too much into it. But what was your view on that?
I don't get time to look at social media. Like Mason, he lives on it. I think it's unfair, like Mason said, if it's people that just keyboard warriors or 12-year-olds, as Mason says, then it's unfair, because when you watch him at the game sort of thing, you can see the effort that he puts in, and you can see the dismay on his face when it's not going his way. You can see when he's standing on his own and no one's passing to him when he's in space. So I just think the whole social media thing, or the abuse that he's been getting, is a bit unfair. Like Dean said, he's a young man. He's learning his trade. Good days, bad days, but you've got to support him. Either way, you either support your team or you don't. You don't stop booing your own team, do you? So
yeah, I really get that.
I just think that Saturday was great. Like I say, the music, well, it is music, I suppose. The whole South Stand, just came together and hopefully made him feel special. But I hope it's not too little, too late. I hope he took it on board. Just I hope it touched his heart. Because I'm sure everyone wants him at the team. He wants him to develop with our team. It's unfair when people just start taking the piss. It's wrong. You don't boo your own players, no matter. You might call them crap, and we might have conversations that they're a bit poor, but you don't go to the lengths of going on their social media and call them all kinds of names and putting them down to the point where they turn all their social media off. It's just wrong.
I saw that. I saw the Coventry game. They called out that his dad was in the crowd, and I must admit, like, it is quite difficult if you're around a player like that. If you can imagine your own child being abused for doing their job and maybe not doing particularly well, that must be difficult for the family as well as everybody else. I try to stay away from social media as much as I can. I've deleted pretty much all of my social media stuff. I only do the YouTube, and I kind of only keep Twitter basically to kind of promote the show and that kind of stuff, and to keep in touch with some of the boys from South Dorset Spurs, because there's a lot of really good people from that. But going through that stuff, there is just so much negativity in there. I mean, this is saying just kind of coming into my head about the fans forum thing. That's really top of an agenda at the moment. There are certain channels and big kind of Twitter people that are calling it out and using it as an opportunity to batter other fans, happy clappers, and all that kind of stuff. But like in my mind, I'm just like, for me, I go football because I love football anyway. Tottenham's my team; it's always been my team, and I follow them through good times and bad. And
exactly,
I don't get the mentality of just constantly complaining, especially when you can't do anything about it. If you see what I mean.
It's complaining and it's complaining, isn't it? There's like I say, going on their social media accounts and really digging them out. That's just going to, to me, that's just going to, going too far, to be honest with you.
And just because they get paid loads of money doesn't make it any less of a person, does it? Right?
No, exactly.
Mentally, how must it affect people?
There's a guy who sits next to me, for a couple of rows, or a couple of seats in front, was having a go at one of the Brentford players, to the fact that the Brentford player turned around and actually said something to the delight of us all, because they've just been it just confirmed that he was a cock.
But you're going to get. The thing is, the player would get in trouble for that, right? Which is a shame, because we like to give players abuse and stuff, like the opposition players, and I'm all for that, right? But in terms of banter and kind of trying to get them to win the game, I don't ever wish ill on an actual person, like the person themselves.
Right. Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially with his age, because it can go either one way or the other. Yeah, it can go. You can take a positive out of it, or you take the negative out of it, and hopefully you don't want him to take the negative out of it, because it's a slippery slide that we've seen players go down. Not just present players, but players. But it is.
I mean, you look at like Richarlison says going through lots of mental health. Dele Alli just recently going all the problems that poor sod's had. So you don't know what these people are going through. Yes, they might have tons of money and go home to a mansion and drive like Bentleys and stuff like that. That don't mean they're happy. That don't mean their life's tickety-boo. In their brain, like, one little thing can tip them over the edge. So yeah, you've got to be a bit mindful of what you're physically saying. Yes, there's banter at the ground. There always will be. I mean, whenever there's a corner taken, it don't matter whether it's at the home end, whether it's at in the away corner, you're always going to get it. It's always going to be that way. But there's never anything. Yeah, there's never anything really said that's like proper hurtful. Shouldn't be. You're just trying to put them off. That's all you're trying to do. Get them off the stride, get in their head a little bit. But the stuff that Johnson's had to go through, like the guys have said, for them to have to delete all their stuff, because all they wanted to do is going, oh look, I'm doing this today, I'm meeting my friends today, we're going around stuff. Because Lamella and all them, they were forever on there. You know, showing I'm around this bloke's house today. I'm going around this today, and this is my family. He's not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And like you said, his dad was in the crowd, Coventry game, right? And when he scored, he was jumping up and down. That's what you want to see. You don't want, you know, as a parent, as we all are, apart from Mason, obviously, unless you've got something to tell us. If anybody said that to one of our, we'd be on them in a flash.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, you've got to watch what you're saying, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Just before we finish on, because I want to talk about Coventry as well, because there's a fair bit of talking points in that. I just wanted to touch on, and I'll come to you, Mason, about Angie's body language. Of late, certainly this season, he has been a bit spiky, a bit prickly, as we've kind of noticed. But he seemed a bit more jovial and a bit more of himself at the weekend. Did you see that, or is it just my imagination?
I think it comes down to how we were playing. So it's when we went 1-0 down, you could see in Andrew's face, he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like he was not happy. But when it was 1-1 and he was seeing us flowing and he was seeing us looking like we was going to get a result from like minute 5, it looked like we was going to batter them. I did see that he loosened up quite a bit, but if you looked at like the how the players were playing individually, Udigi weren't playing the inverted role. He completely switched up. He made 3 changes that game, and it seemed to unlock the mobility of the team. So Son's now playing on the inside again, but also playing out on the left, like good old Son he used to do, and he got 2 assists. Udigi's not playing through the middle anymore. He was hugging the byline. He was running up and down. Maddison in behind the striker and coming back a bit as well, like we saw at the start of last season. So I think Ange is trying to, as he said, like he's always looking to figure out what the players are good at. He's tweaking their styles again and again and again to make the play flow, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think where his body language after we were playing a lot more positively, he was loosening up a bit. He was even like Thomas Frank, he had a little laugh with him after the game. He was a lot happier, like as you said, like a bit joyful. But I still think he's a cold man.
What was his body language like after 26 seconds?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm telling you. He threw his hand in the air. Yeah. He went an happy bloke.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It was interesting to see how he went when the report was asking him about the handball, and they had a bit of banter about who could see it better and so on. I mean, I don't know what the report was expecting him to say there. You know, it was handball. The referee didn't see it. VAR's not going to intercept.
They do ask you some stupid questions, don't they, sometimes?
They do. They just want to try and get you in trouble, don't they? They just want to get the manager in trouble, and then it all becomes a big story when they come back. Okay, look, so overall, a great game, great result. I think we're all really, really happy with that. We've seen the negativity about it only being Brentford in inverted commas, which I think is unfair. At the end of the day, Brentford are a decent team. They're a Premier League team, and you can never expect to win every game just because you've turned up. So I just wanted to, because obviously there's been a couple of games this week, so I wanted to talk about Coventry because obviously we were messaging through that game.
We have to.
Yeah, we do. We do have to talk about it because, and I wanted to start with you, Alex, actually, because we had this debate last week talking about the team selection and whether we expected changes and that. And you specifically said, I want him to go in with a strong team, get ahead, then make some tweaks. Myself and Mason went, he ain't going to do that. He's going to go in with a few changes, but still a strong team. And what he did is he came out with 9 changes.
Yeah,
he came out with 9 changes. So what was your view? What was your view on that? I'll let you articulate what you was thinking when you saw the team selection come out.
Not what I was texting you then, Lee. No. 9 changes. He said himself was too many, didn't he? He said he learned that 9 changes was too many in one go. I got in a bit late actually, but I was just shaking my head. And I know from the off you could. It's the same old. Every time you play a cup game, isn't it? You know, we should put a strong team in first, get the goals, and then put the the B team or the younger boys or whatever on. It's just, to me, it's just securing your position in the next round. So I wasn't impressed when I came through the door, studied who was playing on the pitch, and I think I text you. I think the only really top result was that Blomberg that I text you. But
yes.
but
I knew exactly
who
who you were talking about as well.
Yeah,
Funny
it's
that.
amazing that.
Funny.
Yeah, funny that.
And the only reason I know that is because Brad was sat next to me and he went and he said the same as you. She'd get it. He literally said it, and then you text it.
We might end up in court or something like that now. So,
yeah.
But no, I knew I was right, in my eyes anyway, and you could see how we was going to make a game that shouldn't have been that hard extremely difficult.
So did you think it was a terrible performance, or did you think because this was the notes I put down that Coventry basically kept us at bay? What was your view on that? Did you think we were that terrible, or was Coventry pretty good?
I think because he's made 9 changes, obviously that team is completely probably not played together for a while, or the combination of players together. It just ballsed it all up, really. They just couldn't play. They just weren't on the same page at all. And it was only until he brought the big guns out, they kind of pulled them all together and started making a proper effort. But Coventry give it to us anyway. They were out to get it. And to be honest with you, they were unfortunate not to, turn us over. To be honest with you, because let's get it right. Every team that plays us, it's their World Cup or their FA Cup final, isn't it? So they'd been living on that one for years if they'd turned us over.
Yeah, no, for sure. Mason, what was your view on that? I'll stick with that question for you. Did you think our performance was just really terrible, or did you think that Coventry were the better team where they kept us at bay? Was this dictated by them rather than by us?
I think it's a very even half of both. So let's not forget Coventry did come back from 3-0 down in an FA Cup semi-final against United. Like, it's the same squad. It's the exact same squad. I think they're very unlucky that they haven't been promoted yet. They are a very, very good side, and I think they are better than. I think they are probably one of the best teams in the Championship, bar Burnley, who've just gone down, obviously. But after that game, I did come away with a few comments. I did write down, and one of them was Werner had a stinker. I do like Werner as a player.
I've got him down as a specific subject, actually.
Oh, you read my mind. You read my mind. It's Coventry. I know I've just said they are a good team, but Werner, you have gone from playing Champions League final less than 3 years ago now, to now not being able to perform against Coventry in an FA Cup or Carabao Cup game on a random Wednesday night. I don't know. I found myself getting very angry a few times when Werner had the ball. He made some good chances, don't get me wrong. And I do still like him as a player. I'll never say I won't give abuse like all the other 12-year-olds do online. But he just a few times where he had the ball on the left wing, for one example, he had the ball on the left wing. He ended up being in Rodrigo Bentancur's position and then losing the ball. I don't know how you can fathom that in your mind to do that. But another thing I wanted to touch on was Jed Spence. Why is he not in the Europa League squad? He's just he played very well. Obviously, got the goal back. He played very well from. Well, he was the fault of the first goal going in, if I'm being honest. But he had a really good game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with regards to the Europa League, I think it's to do with the rules. I think that someone did try to explain it to me, and I'm not going to try and articulate what they told me, but how I understood what he was saying was because of the way it's structured about the homegrown as opposed to home trained, as opposed to home country type scenario, means that you can only have so many in the squad over a certain age or under a certain age and all the rest of it. And because of that, because of the way it goes, they've had to make that decision. But again, why would you put Forster in and leave Jed Spence out? I mean, it's a bit of a silly one, really. I don't get it. I really don't. Unless he knows something that we don't, that he's going to do something different with one of the other players. I honestly don't know. It's one I can't fathom out. We'll probably find out on Thursday, won't we? Dean, just going to come to you about that game. What I wrote down here was the result more important than the style? And is this cup it's still important? Is it something that's important to you as a fan? Do you think it's something that we should be taking really seriously?
Yeah, I mean, when we lost against Fulham last year, we was not furious because he'd done the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
We've all said you put your strongest team in and then you rest them at the end, right? Get the goals and then crack on. But at the same time, how many times we all said, why don't he put him on? Why don't he play him? You've brought him in. Let's have him on. Had him on, didn't do so well. I mean, we've done that so many times in the past. Play Troy Parrott. Didn't play so good. So get blood in them. I think he looked at them in training and thought, okay, they're good. They should be good enough. If they're a Tottenham player and they're in the squad, they should be good enough. But if you make wholesale changes like that, they've not got that. They can't gel. They haven't got that understanding. The back four haven't got the understanding, or back two or back three, however he plays it. The midfield haven't got that understanding. The strike partnership haven't got that understanding. Too many changes. Make 3 or 4, yeah, but not 9. But at the same time, I think Coventry made quite a few changes to their squad.
Yeah.
And I think they played well. I think they, again, like Brentford, they come out to play. And they were a better side. They got robbed. They really, really did. If you had asked any Spurs fan, yes, we've been pissed off because we'd lost. But did we deserve to lose? Yeah, we did, because they were better than us on the night. But how many times have we been on the other side of that scoreline when we've been the better team and then all of a sudden they've nicked a goal? It's happened to us, and it's probably happened to every team in the land. So sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. But yeah, I thought it was a good game. It was a good watch for the neutral. For the Spurs fan, not so much.
Not
But
for
again, at the
Mason
end,
stomping on the floor and
oh
swearing really
mate, yeah,
loudly.
I lost my voice. I was shouting at the telly. It's one of them things, and I was due to go, but I just wasn't feeling up to it. So, lucky enough, I sat at home and I didn't have that long journey home. But yeah.
I mean, I went round the club and watched it with Brad and a couple of friends, and it's a bit of a partisan crowd in there. They don't like the fact that there's quite a big group of Tottenham fans that go in there now to watch all the games because none of the other teams have got enough fans to kind of do that. But what they all do is they all then join together just to support the other team and hate it. And it does get on your nerves a little bit. It gets on your nerves a little bit. But I agree with you. I thought Coventry really deserved the win. I thought they played really, really well. And like you said, they had some changes in themselves. So it was a difficult pill for them to swallow. But like you said as well, you can play really well and not get the result. And we've only got to look at this season so far. We played really, really well against Newcastle, lost the game. We played really, really well against Leicester and drew the game. So you've got those 2 games there just as a for instance. Now, the only thing I would say about it is having that win so late in the game. I mean, that's just fantastic when that happens, right? Like a last minute winner or a last minute goal to get a draw like City did the other day against them lot down the road. I mean, you can see how much. I mean, everyone going, yeah, Man City celebrating a draw against Arsenal, how their heads are gone and they're rattled and that. Not at all. Like Arsenal just literally played like Stoke and just held on and held on and held on, and they didn't get the result in the end. But the fans will enjoy that last minute winner more than anything. And you see the crowd and the crowd going mad at the end of that Coventry game, and you think to yourself, that's what football's all about, that drama right at the end. And of course, it had to be Brennan Johnson who was going to score it after the shit that he's been putting up with to take such a fantastic goal as well. I mean, he played it so well. It was just a thing of beauty for me. And I was just so over the moon that he did that. But for me, terrible, terrible game from our point of view. And the the 9 changes was crazy, absolutely crazy.
Madness.
I couldn't understand why, and I'm a fan of Gray. I think he looks a decent player, but why are you playing him as a right back when you've literally got a right back on the bench in Jed Spence, right? Why are you playing there? And I know he came on and played left-sided, and got his goal, and great goal for Jed Spence, and congratulations to him as well, getting off the mark. I was really pleased to see that, and it looked like it meant a lot to him as well. But I didn't understand that. I mean, I was all for like Bergvall coming in and Dragusin, but
again, Dragusin, he's left-sided. Yet for some reason, Ange plays him on the right. That I get it, because you want to maybe sometimes you wanted a right-footed player on the left and a left-footed player on the right, because it gives you more options. But it is strange. I mean, you go back to Aaron Lennon, right? How many times did he run down a wing, stop, and then turn and come back in? Because it was predominantly left-footed. But nine changes though makes no sense. You make 3 or 4 perhaps, and then sort of like say you bring on the big guns after, and we do that a lot. But so many times it don't work out. But
I would have rather seen it the other way, as Alex had said. I'd rather it have gone the other way, with having the strength on first, and then bringing on the younger players or the newer players to kind of get some minutes and stuff. Although I wasn't against maybe having Bergvall, Dragusin, Solanke. I still wanted him to play and so on. What confused me, I was really confused about Forster. I know he hadn't had a game for a year. And to be fair to him, I have to hold my hands up. Last week I was saying I don't want him anywhere near this team, but
he had a moment, didn't he?
He had a couple of moments in that game, but he did pull off a couple of good saves as well. So he had a bit of a 50-50 game for me. The other one I wanted to call out, Alex, and I'll come to you with it, was Ben Davies. Like, he literally threw himself across the pitch to stop what was a certain goal. But he's always lumped in with the Eric Dyer and Lo Celso and Nondombele, all the so-called inverted commas deadwood. Do you think that's unfair for Ben Davies? I like that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, he tries every time he comes on the pitch, he gives it his all. That was a slide, wasn't it? When he saved from the goal. I mean, that he just wears his heart on his sleeve. I should imagine he's trying to fight for his position every time he goes on the pitch, because he knows someone's chomping at his heels, sort of thing, to take over from him. So
always professional, though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he's always a good solid person of the team. You kind of can rely on him, but you kind of can't, like everyone else. But he always puts a solid, good performance in, I think.
Yeah,
he might drop a bollock every now and then, but
I think he's always a professional about it, right? He never complains. He never kicks off or makes a fuss or whatever. He gets asked to play a left back. He gets play a centre back. He gets played to wherever he is. He does his job. He does what he can. He does his best. I'm not saying he's the best option. I'd much rather.
He wants to be a part, doesn't
he? I'd much rather have Van der Ven in there or Udogie than Ben Davies. But when he has to come in, I always know that he's going to give it
his all.
Best.
Being versatile in a team, like a high spec team like Tottenham Hotspur, is obviously a good thing. I think he just wears his heart on his sleeve. He gives a solid performance when he can. Like I say, might drop a bollock every now and then, but no, I wouldn't class him as deadwood, not yet anyway.
No, I do want to come back, Dean. I'll come back to you on this one. I know Mason's had his say on it, right? And I'm going to have my little bit of a moan already as well. Timo Werner.
No, hang on.
Timo Werner, and like I say, I don't want to give anyone abuse or personal abuse or whatever, but I have to say I've not been a fan of Timo Werner, even when he came the first time, and then when they announced his second loan, I think I was on with Chris Cowlin, and I said I feel like that's a club signing. It just smacks of it's a good deal. Can't really turn it down. We didn't see what we could really get from him. But I've got to be honest, in my mind, I still haven't seen anything from the guy. I haven't seen anything to suggest that he is right for this team. Like his crossing, I've not seen him beat a man. I've not seen him really cross the ball. I've not seen him change it up. Okay, he's had a couple of assists and stuff, a couple of goals or whatever. But it's always the same thing with him. I don't see any variation in his game. And the one thing that does always strikes me is he always turns back and runs inside. And I want to pick up on the point that Mason made. I know exactly that point in that game that you're talking about, where he cut in from the left, he ran right across the middle of the pitch, and basically lost the ball, fell over and lost the ball, which led to an opportunity for them. So I have a real problem with Timo Werner. I know Jono absolutely loves him, and he said he's going to come on and fight his corner for him. But Dean, having heard what me and Mason's view on it, what's your view on Timo Werner? Are you a fan of Timo Werner? Do you think
I'm in John's corner, mate. Yeah, because the problem the poor sod's got, right? He sits out there and he's been told to have chalk on his boots. He's right on the right. And if that ball don't come to him, no matter what he does in the game, he'll run backwards and forwards. The amount of times he makes a run inside and he's waiting for the ball, he's pointing, he's going, right, there. And then the midfield then cut back inside. Bentancur does it so often. He's like he's like blinded on the left-hand side. I don't know what it is. So he's going, run, there. And Sonny does the same thing because they kind of sometimes occupy the same space. So he's going, give it. But the time it does happen, going back to the guy we were just talking about, when Ben Davies is on, he always puts him in. Right? And that when he was playing on Saturday, yes, he lost the ball, but he ran across the pitch, done a tackle and got it back. So, yeah, I like him. He just ain't got the service. It's like anything. If you're not in the pitch all the time, you're never going to be you're never going to get that, that contact. You're never going to get, it's just, I feel sorry for him. Again, he's not a shit player. He just isn't. He's a good player. And it's a cracking deal. He's just got to have time. He's got to have minutes. So hopefully, I don't know if is he in the Europa squad?
Yeah.
Right. So if he's in that, he's going to get minutes. Right. Because again, left-sided. So I think you'll be fine. It's going to have to come. But again, if you're not playing, you're not going to get that confidence. And if people keep you knocking you, it's going to knock your confidence. It's the same with Brennan.
I get what you mean by Werner saying it's a cracking deal, but at the same time, the best deal of the summer, which Paratici, if he was still here, would have been all over, is Chiesa. He went. How much did he go for? 12 million. I'm not being funny. I obviously it's if buts and maybes, but on paper I would prefer Chiesa over Werner. I do think it was a very quick, like Daniel Levy snap up club signing, but I think, as you said, Dean, I think he has got quality. It's just I haven't seen a lot of it. I know he's got quality, but I always sit there and I'm waiting for something different to happen for Werner. Maybe a crossing, maybe to beat his man. But it's just 9 times out of 10 it doesn't happen. And what you said against Coventry, he lost the ball and went back. He done the same thing against Arsenal, but this time he passed it to Jesus from the other side of the pitch.
Yeah.
He's a liability when it comes to drop him back, but going forward he is dangerous. So it kind of weighs out, but at the same time I haven't got a lot of faith as of now. He needs to change my mind, so to speak.
He does go down the left wing, right? He flies down the left wing, and because he has got a little bit of speed about him. If that ball's played properly, he'll get down the left wing, and he's constantly looking inside, going, "Well, where?" So he's then got to stop and then cut it inside because we haven't got a flying striker. Well, obviously when Solanke maybe gets better, and Kulusevski. Most of our players don't score with their head. If Kane was in there, totally different.
Oh yeah.
So you're always playing on the floor.
Solanke can header, right? Yeah. He's got the ability to do that, but I have not seen any high balls going in, and that for me is the thing. I do agree with you. Like I've got to be honest. I don't think Timo Werner is a poor footballer, right? He can't be a poor footballer. He's a German international. He's playing at some really big clubs. He's clearly got quality.
Mm.
It's just, for me, it just doesn't seem to be working at Tottenham. In the same way, Giovanni Lo Celso, I was always moaning about him because he was always seemed to be injured when it came to playing for Tottenham, and he never seemed to be able to produce his international quality at Tottenham. And yet he's gone to Betis and he's doing really, really well. And fair
He
play
set
to
it
him.
alight.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want him to come back. But because I just don't think it worked out for him with us, and I think maybe that's the same for Timo Werner. I'm just like you, Mason. I want to see it happen. You know, if I can see it happen, then I'm all for it. I don't want any player to fail. You know, I don't want any Tottenham players to fail. I want them to succeed.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
Yeah, well, there are some fans that want that because we see it all the time on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube
I can think of a
channels.
couple.
There's a few I can think of stuff. But yeah, okay. Look, see, time's ticking on. We're getting close towards the end now. But I did want to just touch on Tottenham versus Qarabağ. Obviously, first Europa League game. I think that the process is different this year in the fact that it's a league kind of process, so it's not a knockout or whatever. So I just want to go around the room and see what you're expecting from the game. What kind of lineup are you expecting, and what's your prediction for the game? I'll start with you, Dean. What do you think? What's your expectation of the game? Win, difficult game, draw, maybe?
I think we'll win, but I think it's a difficult game. I mean, they've been about a while now, Qarabağ, so they're no mugs. They're not. Otherwise, they're in the same bloody competition as us. So you can't write people off.
No.
They're a decent side. I just hope that we have learnt from the mistakes of playing a weakened team. So hopefully he'll put out his strongest team and then change it.
Yeah. So what are you expecting? So that might be what you want. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think he'll do?
Depends what keeper he's going to put in. Is he going to put Vicario in? Because he's only got 4 keepers in.
Yeah.
So he might say, right, okay, well, I'm going to put, do I put Vicario in? Do I put Forster in? I don't know, because yes, he made some good saves, but at the same time, Christ, he made some of the stuff that he'd done. You think, why have you done that? But he is a lump again. He's do you blood Brandon Austin? I don't think so, because I think it's too high a profile game. But like, it's a league, so
it's your mate.
You lose the.
It's your mate, isn't it, Brandon?
Yeah, but when I saw on Saturday, he was putting the crosses in. He wasn't in the goal once. So whether he's not injured his shoulder or whatever he's done, whether he's going to sort of be playing, I don't know. So yeah, we've got to put out a strongest team. If you get 3 points straight away, and is it how many people qualify? Is it the first top 2 or top 3?
I don't know off the top of my head. If I'm being honest with you, I think it
must be
top 2.
Mason,
are you on about the league phase, Dean?
Yeah.
So the top 8 go through. The last, the top 8 go through. The 16 after that go into the playoffs, if you will, and then the ones underneath that either drop down or just get out of European football. And after that, whoever qualifies after that goes into the round of 16 and so on.
Yeah, so that's what you want. You don't want to be dropping into the playoffs or anything like that. You want to win that game, because you're going to have fixture congestion coming up, and it's not what you need. We've got enough games as it is.
Yeah,
there is some difficult teams in our group and that anyway. You've still got you got Roma in there, you got Galatasaray in there. There ain't going to be no mugs either.
Don't think Rangers are no joke either.
None of them are. I mean, it is a tough thing. We think, we're Europa League, we'll win that. No chance. It is going to be strong. Like you said, Roma, Galatasaray, going away to them. Shit, mate, that's going to be something else.
Yeah.
And is it AZ Alkmaar as well? We got.
Yeah.
So that's a tough league. But if you want Champions League, you want Europa League, you want Conference, you want to play the best teams. I mean, how many times when we saw sort of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Dortmund, Ajax, they were brilliant days. You know, that's what you want. Days to remember. You don't go, oh, we're playing like some farmer down the road. It's not what you want. You want to play the best of the best, because that's the only way you can judge where you are at that time. And if you get smashed every game, you know you're shit. So, but if you win every game, then you know where you are.
Alex, coming to you. What do you think? Are you
What he
expecting a
said.
win? Are you?
Oh, yeah,
Shut up.
I'm expecting.
What are you expecting a win? What about your
Yeah.
lineup? Do you think is he gonna go with a strong lineup this time? Do you think
He's got to. If he doesn't, then he hasn't learned anything from the other night. You've got to put a strong team in first, like Dean said. They're no mugs. You know, we've got to go full guns a blazing. We've got to give it to them. We've got to get on that pitch and from the off hit the ground running. You know, we can't test the water and then start making changes again. We just got to get on that pitch, go for it, get a few goals up, then make the changes. I know it's.
are you
Expecting
a win?
I'm expecting a win.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a win, 2-1, something like that. But I'm just more worried about his tactics. I'm more worried about how he's going to approach the game, because if it's going to say a lot, you know, do we want silverware or do we not? Do we want to get somewhere in any competition? You know, if he comes across as a, you know, not learning from not his mistakes, but just doing things differently, then we're going to win fuck all again for the next 20 years. So, you know, I'm hoping for a 2-1 win. I hope we hit the ground running. I hope we play strong. I hope we play well, but I hope we give it to them. You know, give them a run for their money. It's just Tottenham Hotspur. You know, so you know we should go to Europe saying we are here and we're on the way up. But we'll see what happens.
All right, Mason, what do you think? Same to you.
Oh, I'm going to go a bit different this time. I think Coventry are a harder team than Qarabağ. Personally, I think Qarabağ. I think we should be fielding a less strengthened team, only because I want to see Mikey Moore play. I think Mikey Moore, unleash him against Qarabağ, I think he'll have a good game. But another thing I want to touch on, I want to see Son start, because who did Son score his first Spurs goal against? Qarabağ 9 years ago. So it'd be good. It'd be good
for
to
the
see.
way he's been playing. You talk about Son.
He'll do it against them. It's just I think Coventry's a harder team than Qarabağ personally. So I think we should.
Sorry, Mason. Son needs extra touch. As long as he doesn't do that, we'll be fine.
Well, they're playing against a team that's not being funny. I did look into it. Half of their players aren't up to scratch as I thought they were. I thought Qarabağ would be not, as you said. I don't think they'd be mugs, but I don't think they're up to scratch in terms of quality of a lot of the other teams in Europa League. But yeah, no, I think I want to see a few youngsters in the team. Maybe Mikey Moore, Will Lancashire. But other than that, don't change it too much. You know what I mean? We always know what happens.
What's your score prediction? What are you thinking then? Prediction wise?
Going for, I reckon we mess up at one point because Spurs fashion. I'm going for a cheeky 3-1 or a 4-1.
Okay, Dean, you didn't give me a score prediction. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think we've got too much up front, but sometimes we do cock up at the back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we're almost at an hour. So the last thing for me to say is I'm going to go with a 3-0 win for us, which is what I've called out on the Irish Hot Spurs prediction channel. That's what I'm expecting. I think we will go. I think Ange will definitely go with some changes. I'm hoping it's not 9. I do think we need a little bit of quality in there. But like you, Mason, I'd like to see Mikey Moore come on at some point. I don't think I'd start with it, but I do think it would be good to see him in there. But I do still feel like players like Solanke and Johnson probably still need that development. But I think our friend Werner will be back for that game. So last thing to say is, thanks very much, boys, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been really good chat tonight. I think it's gone really, really well. Happy with that. Everybody who's watching, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Please do leave comments. Please do give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you decide. That's good. I read all of the comments as well. So thanks for doing that. If you don't watch it on YouTube and you want to watch it on Spotify, feel free to do that, and then you can listen to it while you're driving to work, or you're on the bus, or walking the dog, or taking a dump, or whatever you're doing. You've got that opportunity in there, and for that, I think you need to give a 5-star rating. So, on that note, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to say up the Spurs and keep the faith, and we march on. Up the Spurs.
Go on,
Up the
Tottenham.
Spurs.
Go on, Spurs.